Emma stood near the edge of the garden, her arms crossed tightly across her chest as the warm afternoon breeze danced around the crowd. She was 17, smart, and not one to smile for fake people or fake situations. That was exactly how she felt about today. Everyone else around her seemed happy, laughing, sipping champagne, chatting under the white tents, but Emma was fuming inside. Today was her mother Rachel's wedding day, and Emma knew something that no one else did. Something dark, something dangerous. Rachel, her mother, looked stunning in her cream-colored wedding dress. Her blonde hair was curled perfectly, and her makeup was flawless. She stood at the altar with her soon-to-be husband, Victor Hamilton, a charming man with a polished smile, expensive watch, and smooth words that always made people trust him immediately. But Emma had seen the cracks in that smile. She had noticed things others hadn't. The music began to play again as the officiant raised his hands to begin the ceremony. The crowd fell quiet. Rachel turned to look at Victor, smiling with tears of happiness in her eyes. It was supposed to be a perfect moment, but Emma couldn't take it anymore. She walked straight down the aisle, past the shocked guests, her footsteps loud against the wooden flooring. Rachel saw her daughter and smiled slightly, thinking she was coming to give her a hug, maybe offer her a flower, or say a few words. But Emma's expression was cold. "Emma," Rachel whispered, confused. Victor shifted uncomfortably, his smile twitching for a second. Emma stood between them and faced the crowd. She took a deep breath and looked out at the dozens of guests, all waiting to see what she would do. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Emma began, her voice shaking but strong. "But this wedding can't go on, not until everyone knows the truth." "What?" Crowd began to murmur. Rachel looked pale. "Emma, what are you talking about?" Emma turned slowly to her mother. "You need to know who Victor really is. And everyone here deserves to know too." Victor's expression darkened. "This isn't the time, Emma. We can talk later." "No," she said firmly. "We're going to talk now." The air felt heavy as Emma pulled a folded paper from her pocket. Her hands trembled, but she steadied herself. She had spent weeks gathering the truth, searching through documents, making phone calls, even sneaking into Victor's office one night when he thought she was asleep. "I found your file," drawer, Emma said, looking directly at Victor. "The one behind the bookshelf. The one with different names, different IDs. I know you're not Victor Hamilton. Your real name is Carl Donovan." The crowd gasped. Rachel's mouth dropped open. Emma continued. "You changed your name 6 years ago after you were charged with fraud and identity theft in another state. You skipped bail and vanished. You've been lying to everyone ever since." Victor stepped forward. "That's a lie." Emma raised the papers. "These are copies of the court records. I spoke to the clerk from your case. I even found a woman you scammed her, Maria Jenkins. You told her the same story you told Mom. You promised her a life. You took her money and then disappeared." Rachel looked from Emma to Victor, her lips trembling. "Is this true?" Victor's jaw clenched. "She's a child. She doesn't know what she's talking about." Emma's voice cracked. "I'm not a child. I've been watching you. I've heard you on the phone at night, whispering about bank transfers. I've seen you lie with a straight face. I didn't want to ruin your happiness, Mom, but you need to know he's been stealing from you." Rachel staggered back a step. "I checked your accounts. You didn't notice, but he's been moving money from your business savings into another account under a fake company name." I followed the trail. Guests began whispering to each other. One woman had already taken out her phone and was recording. "Everything. I thought you were just another guy trying to replace my dad," Emma said, tears forming in her eyes. "But then I realized it was worse. You're a criminal. And you were about to marry my mom and take everything from her." Victor stepped toward Emma, but 2 men from the crowd stood up and blocked his way. Rachel took a deep breath, her face a mix of anger, disbelief, and heartbreak. "Victor, is any of this true?" Victor's mouth opened, then closed. His silence said everything. Suddenly, sirens wailed in the distance. Emma had called the police 30 minutes before the ceremony, just in case he tried to run. She had sent them the evidence too. Within minutes, officers arrived. Victor tried to make a run for it, but he didn't get far. He was tackled to the ground near the gate, his white suit stained with dirt. Guests screamed and stepped back, shocked. As they watched the groom in handcuffs being read his rights, Rachel stood frozen. Watching the man she was about to marry being taken away, Emma walked over to her. "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't want to hurt you, but I couldn't let you marry him." Rachel looked at her daughter with tears in her eyes. You saved me, Emma." That night, the wedding venue was quiet. The decorations still hung. From the trees and the cake sat untouched in the corner. Most of the guests had left, still in shock over what had happened. Rachel and Emma sat together on the porch, both wrapped in silence. "I feel like such a fool," Rachel whispered. "You're not," Emma said gently. "He fooled everyone. He was really good at it." Rachel shook her head. "I was so desperate to move on. After your father died, I just wanted to feel loved again." Emma nodded. "I know, but you deserve real love, not lies." Rachel looked at her daughter, truly seeing her for the first time in a long while. "How did you even find all that out?" Emma leaned back, recalling the long nights she spent on her laptop, the strange emails she saw on Victor's phone, and the whispered phone calls that didn't make sense. "I just paid attention. I knew something was off about him. So I started digging. Once I found the first clue, the rest came together." Rachel smiled faintly. "You're so much like your father. He never let things slide either." They sat in silence again for a while, watching the wind move through the trees. "You were really brave today," Rachel said. "I was scared," Emma admitted, "but I couldn't let you get hurt." Rachel put her arm around her daughter. "You've saved my life, Emma. You really did." Over the next few weeks, Rachel cooperated with authorities. It turned out that Victor Carl had a long history of scamming women. He used charm, fake documents, and elaborate lies to gain access to their money and then vanish. Emma's discovery had exposed him just in time. Rachel took time to heal, but she never forgot what Emma did. Their relationship grew stronger. She even let Emma help at her boutique business, where the two often spent afternoons laughing and planning for the future. Emma was no longer just a girl in the background. She was the hero of their story. And as for the wedding day, Rachel never saw it as ruined. Instead, she saw it as the day she was truly saved by the one person who loved her enough to tell the truth. No matter how hard it was,